If you're wondering what women want in a relationship, we have no answers for you because every woman is different. But this video is definitely for you. If you are a woman, we'd love to get your thoughts.
Ah! Oh! Oh!
In this video, we're going to talk about dating over 45. This video is more for men. It's more revolving about what women want because it's going to be coming more from my perspective. We'll do another one coming from Jeremie's perspective. For this one, we're just going to break it down and what's really important for me and from my perspective, what I think women like me are looking for when they're dating.
You know a lot of women. I think they've told you what they're looking for too.
There's definitely, uh, there's definitely some data here.
So men, by the end of this video, you should be going, I'm glad I know that.
Yeah.
Because some of this stuff I'm about to hear, I'm sure I would love to have known like 10 minutes ago.
Some stuff that you may not even know. Before we get into that, we do have an ebook we'd like to offer you that's all about Gen X starting over. We wrote it. It's from both of our perspectives. So you get that Q&A format of what do you do when she's in a shitty mood? And how do you react when he wants to go do something else? That's what this ebook is about. It's got all kinds of tips and tricks in it as well. The link's in the description, so go ahead and grab that. So,
Jumping back in.
obviously, when you're in your 40s, you've been through a lot in your life. So, as a woman, you don't want to raise another child. So, we're going to talk about maturity first.
Yes.
If
Yep.
you're looking for a man in your life, you're typically not looking to adopt a puppy.
No.
And you're one to raise another child. I'm saying in general and from my perspective. So I was dating, and when we actually met, one of my big requirements, I'll say requirements, what I was looking for was a man who had kids, but didn't necessarily have young kids or want more kids. This
Yep.
is kind of a specific thing when you're older that you need to really know where you're at with it. A lot of the dating app says like has kids and want kids, but before you even date, you should know that thing because women will want to know.
Yeah, because honestly, neither of us wanted to get into a relationship where the youngest child was like 5 or younger. I wasn't in a space to do that. My children were 13 and 15 when we met.
Mine were 11 and 13.
Yep.
So if you are open to dating someone with young kids, it's good to know that if you have young kids, please disclose that.
Yes.
This is a really big life point when you're dating at this point in your life, because if you've got a 5-year-old and you're 45 and you've got 13 years till that kid's 18, you've got to consider how much time you're going to be stepping into a step parenting role for a young kid for a while. Sometimes that's great, sometimes that's not. As far as dealing with conflict, communication, being able to have a mature conversation,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really an important thing from the beginning in dating apps. This is huge. When you're on the dating apps and you're in this digital world and the typical communication style is, "Hey, what's up?" Not much. You like
Yeah. Like you're all 10 years old again or something.
we need to get beyond that, and we need to see that you're going to get beyond that quickly and want to have an actual conversation. Okay, side note, I'm not talking about Tinder and hookup culture. I'm talking about dating,
Right.
relating, and actually learning, getting to know people. So that's not what I'm talking about. Being able to use full sentences and articulate how you feel and know who you are is a big part of this.
This may sound like a no duh, but she and I go on the dating apps as a couple and we look at what it's like to communicate. And I swear, like sometimes I'll pretend to be a woman, she'll pretend to be a man or whatever the case is. And the way people communicate, no,
No, we don't.
okay. Let's try to soften them.
We aren't catfishing. No, what he's
We're examining how people communicate.
we sign up on dating apps now as a married couple who's teaching this stuff
Yeah.
so we can understand what is currently happening.
So there's nothing more frustrating when you finally get a match and then you wait for the conversation and the first thing that they say is hi or sup. And so then I will respond with a full sentence and then I'll like wait 3 days and like delete. So when she told me that this was a big thing that women experience, I got to see firsthand and I'm like, man, grow up.
So what he's saying is when we go on dating apps, we show each other what's going on. Like
Yeah.
this is what it's like. And it's just really it's at the point of we don't communicate like humans because we have this wall we're hiding behind. So there's no authenticity at first. So getting authentic, dropping the mask and letting people see who you really are early on, that's what we did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's easy for everyone, but if you consider the amount of time you have left in your life and the amount of time you want to spend getting to know somebody new, I want to know up front that you got weird shit I can't handle.
Yeah.
I just want to know because then I'm not going to find out 6 months that you've got a situation in your life that is going to destroy our relationship.
Yeah, brother, seriously. I mean, at 45 and older, it's a good chance you've even been divorced by now. Do you really want how, be yourself? I mean, at this point, we have so much mileage on us. We've got experience. They love it when they actually get to know us quickly. So if they've got to like get a hand grenade and a chain and pull it out, I mean, do you really have that kind of time? Just put your chips on the table
Well,
and play your hand.
there's a lot going on with that, with feeling safe to do that. And I'm not suggesting that you dump your entire life story in the first 5 minutes.
No.
It's not quite that, but it is really relevant and important foundational truths about you that aren't going to change. That's important to share early on. Don't waste someone's time. If I like using this example, please forgive me. If you have 8 cats, you should disclose that. As a
Yes.
person who has 8 cats that live in your house with you, there's a very specific kind of person who will love you for that and who want to bring their 8 cats
Yeah.
and that will be your world.
It won't be us.
I here's that example because it's kind of a very it's sort of a yes no thing. People either want cats in their house or they don't. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of gray area. Another thing is listening when and being interested and curious. So when you're dating, women want to know that they have your attention
Yeah.
and that you don't have 8 lines in the water and you just finished telling them a story about a thing and then they ask you a question that isn't relevant because they thought you were that woman and
Yeah.
don't do that.
Don't listen waiting for your turn to respond.
Yeah, and that too. When you're actually having a conversation in person, being interested and asking questions and being curious, asking what you want to know. Like just be upfront and real early on.
Yeah, I
Like,
do know one of the things that I said to you on your first date that you told me had really made an impact on you.
I know.
I said, well, I just want to tell you, here's my shit. This is what I'm dealing with, and this is what I'm doing about it. That little to my, that blew her away.
Well, it's ownership. So if you spend time meeting somebody new and all you're doing is complaining about how much your life sucks or how mean your ex is, or you're not taking ownership of how you've created your life in some way, then it's not easy to proceed and connect with someone who's not really in their own
Yeah.
self-actualization of this is who I am and this is what I'm doing about it. So again, if you've got an ex in a weird situation and whatever it is, if you've got, a dog rescue and you have 15 dogs in your house, I'll polarize it for dogs too.
Yeah.
I love dogs. I don't want 15 dogs in my house. But there is somebody who will. So this is kind of where I'm coming from. Be honest, be upfront, see who you can find that will align with you because it's possible.
Yeah. And at 45 and up, it should be expected that at some point in your life, you've got some self awareness going on. So that's a huge plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else, honey? This
Also,
is great.
you're at a point where you're likely working or still in your career, getting close to retirement age, but you're still working. So are your expectations of time you're spending together going to match up? If you're a workaholic and you're working 60 hours a week and you want a partner, how much time are you going to be able to give that partner? And I'm saying men or women.
Yeah.
Men or women, either one can work a lot of hours. So talking about those conversations early up front. Do you want to live together with someone? Do you want to spend part time, a few nights a week, get together, have a good time, and let your, relationship evolve? Or do you want someone who's in it 24/7 with you soon?
Yeah.
We accidentally did that because COVID happened. So had already decided to get married. We'd already decided to merge our lives.
Yep.
And those decisions weren't Cinderella fairy tale decisions. They were very
They're
real.
very
They
practical.
were very practical, and they were very honest. That if we're going to do this, we are going to make a decision to commit to this, and no matter what comes up, we're going to do it.
Yeah, we actually went on a weekend retreat with note paper and like actually took some time to try to map this out as best as we could.
Yeah, and we really had to understand what all was on the table, how to organize it, and what our biggest bumps in the road were going to be. So none of this is saying that any relationship is ever going to be easy or perfect, but it gives you the idea that the more real and authentic you are about what you want and what you are creating and what you're into, share your weirdness and the unique things about you and the hobbies and stuff.
Ooh, can I share something? This is something I didn't quite realize that I needed to say, but when I say once we got going in our relationship, I mean, it was at like 4 on the floor, Jack. It was quick. We moved it quick. But one of the things that I was realizing that I finally got to say, I got to connect with myself enough was to say, I know, oh, this is how I want to feel in our relationship. Because I can look back on my past and how I didn't get to feel. And I'm not ever going to a world where I feel that way again.
Yeah.
I want to feel this way. And can we do that? Because if I could feel the way I wanted to feel, it meant that a lot of things were in place to make that possible.
And knowing what you want to feel is part of this too.
Yes.
If you get married early on and when you're young and you don't even really know yourself, you partner with somebody else, sometimes those relationships blossom and grow and those people stay together forever and they unfold and they keep evolving together and that's fantastic. But when you're meeting and starting over so much later, there's a lot of stuff you don't have that track record. So you have to put everything on the table, not put the past on the table, but put the effect of the past on
Yeah.
the table, if that makes sense. So if you grew up in a world where you didn't have any boundaries or you didn't have any privacy or any safety, those things are going to come out now. So being able to talk about it is really important.
You know what else was really relieving for me to be able to talk about? I mean, this may sound like it was included in be honest about your life,
Mhm.
but I think specifically to be able to talk about our previous sex life,
Mhm.
our previous intimacy, our previous experiences, the things that we liked, the things we didn't like, to be able to put all that on the table,
Yep.
that cannot be hiding in the shadows or like a no taboo subject kind of thing. It has to be a big part of it because that was a huge piece of what brought us closer.
It's a difficult topic for a lot of people because retroactive jealousy
Oh God, that's awful.
is a thing. And a lot of times people don't have the level of self esteem and security to be able to have those conversations. So we're not saying that's going to be easy. And if you see a pattern in a conversation you're having about your partner in their past, they may not even be able to see it. So if you have
Yes.
the ability to talk about it, typically for us, if I see something in a pattern and I hear him talking and saying these patterns, I won't say, "Well, you blah blah blah." I will ask a question. So, have you ever considered that maybe this
Yep.
happens when, and that triggers him to consider that in a different way, and that allows us to change a pattern that is trying to play out.
One of the things that we're really good at, I mean, literally from day one, was that if you or I did or said anything that set off a trigger, like if I did something and it set off your trigger, we both already accepted the trigger. My triggers are my own. My life story and my experience are my own. So if you're meeting somebody and it's working out well and you're feeling triggers go off, telling you they're yours. They're not yours. They're not someone else's. They're not your partner's. Own it, find a way to deal with it, find a way to process it. But that was a huge thing that makes what our communication is like so possible.
And if you have no idea what he's talking about, watch some of our other videos. If you
Oh,
like
good
this kind
point.
of content, subscribe, like this. It really helps build our channel so we can help more people with understanding this. These concepts for us are part of our daily practice. It's a new thing for a lot of people. So if that didn't make any sense to you, then you need to listen to more of our content. I think you'll really enjoy it.
You know what'll make sense is if women, if you like this, if you would like I want men to know all sorts of
Please
stuff.
help us with your
Put it in the
content, yes.
comments. Yeah, let us participate. Let's conversate.
We're coming from our own experience,
Yeah.
and we welcome your experience and your input. We welcome these conversations and understanding. We're here to build this connection between people. We are not here to tear each other apart.
No.
And we invite you to join us.
Ah!